Hey, yo, welcome in CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me is my partner in degeneracy, Cody Delmendo. Follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. Cody, how was the betting weekend?
It was awesome, Sean. I made about $300 thanks to a $50 parlay.
I saw that. Hey, way to share that. Way to text your good old buddy pal Sean. Hey, putting some bones on this one. I mean, mercy.
Well, I did tell everyone about Creighton. Because, and I even threw it in the CHGO Bets Discord Slack channel because I threw in the stat about how teams in the top 10 in KenPom on offense, but outside the top 100 in defense, have never made the NCAA or have never made the Sweet 16, at least since 2004. 100% of them never have. Creighton played Baylor. Baylor was on that list. I even said the same thing. That same stat had Mizzou on it. So I hammered Princeton on Saturday at plus 240 on the money line, on the spread, took the under. Oh, I'm a big fan of the data analysts and accountants at fucking Princeton University, Sean. Big fan.
I'm glad you're a big fan. I got a big enemy that I made this weekend. I'm happy that you like the nerds
Gonzaga
over at
because that was a brutal beat.
Yeah, it was Baugh who made that last three, right?
I don't know. I just saw the highlight on Twitter. Well, I missed. I actually didn't bet the spread on that game. I bet TCU money line for some dumb reason. I think it was just because I was chasing the plus money, but it wasn't like an official pick for me because I didn't know how to bet that game. I just did it for fun, and
I knew Gonzaga was going to win.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga, you know what? I felt a little weird betting them at 4.5, and I had them at minus 4.5, and I had a $2 wager, and I said, you know what? I'm going to cash out. I don't like it. I'm just gonna cash out, and I'm gonna take 3.5, minus 3.5. And I should have waited because at halftime they were at minus 120 to win the game. I should have put my $9 on them to win the game. I should have put it at minus 1.5, but no, I said they'll win by more than one possession.
Yeah,
minus 3.5. I even went down a point. I went down a point.
It was a brutal one. It's an all-time bad beat, man. Like
I can't.
Like I thought Charleston against San Diego State was bad, getting fouled in the final half second, and then they get to shoot free throws to give them a 6-point win. That I thought that was bad, but the TCU 3-pointer from half court or whatever is brutal. Honestly, like the books should be refunding everyone their money, in my personal opinion, but and some of them will do that for certain circumstances, but I assume they didn't for this one.
Yeah,
just an all-time bad beat. Like no one deserves. Like I would never wish that kind of pain on someone.
I'm in pain.
It's a type of pain that like no one deserves to feel. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that. What I wish I had done was just bet Gonzaga on the money line at like halftime because they were down 5 at half, and I didn't really know how to bet the game because like Gonzaga was not playing well until the second half. But TCU was staying in it, and I was like, is this just gonna be one of those wacky games where Gonzaga shits the bed again? And that's why I bet on TCU. And then Drew Timme took over, and it was close at the end, like you saw. But
it wasn't. First off, let's do a little chat work. It's good to see Jack R back in the chat. It's been a while.
Months. He's come back
after Indiana.
Of course, after Indiana loses,
body is dead. He comes back.
Then tells me that Illinois sucks. Thanks, I appreciate it, man.
And shout out to Jerome. I know his Marquette Golden Eagles lost, and shout out to Kevin. I know they're mourning their poor Eagles who lost. So
it's not been easy, man.
Huh?
It's not been easy.
Yeah,
tough weekend. They beat that Michigan State team 9 times out of 10 if Tyler Kolek's healthy.
At least you still got Shaka.
Do love Shaka, man.
Yeah,
I wasn't necessarily surprised that Marquette lost. But I was surprised that Michigan State won despite going 1 for 15 or whatever from 3. But Marquette just turned the ball over so much in that game.
Cody, I am surprised not only that Michigan State beat Marquette, I am shocked that they even beat USC. My best bet that day was USC to win, and I had them on the money line. I had them boosted. I used 100% boost. I was so confident, and they just did not show up. Boogie Ellis couldn't make a shot, but I'm pretty sure that game they went like 3 of 15 from 3 as well. I think literally the stat is like they've only won 2 games where they've had that poor of shooting from 3, and it's the 2 effing tournament games. Like I don't understand this Tom Izzo thing. I mean, this man must have skulls in his basement. He's rubbing them each and every night. I mean, what is this magic that he is able to like? Who are these guards? I mean, their offense looked like dog shit the entire time in the Big Ten tournament. He's been in the Big Ten for years. He's a dinosaur, and he still doesn't know how to beat the Big Ten. And then, oh, it's the tournament. I'm going to turn it on. Oh, here comes all these goofy guards I have.
Listen, they play defense, and that like the teams that have advanced, a lot of them are really good on defensive end. Like, and that's why they won the game. But also, like I said, Marquette turned the ball over because of Michigan State's defense. They were able to get easy baskets. That's basically how it happened. That you can't go 1 for 15 or whatever from 3 and win in the NCAA tournament more often than not. It was their defense on why they won that game. And they hit big shots when they absolutely needed to. Whenever Marquette would get some like momentum, you know, Cam Jones was the reason they were in that game, to be honest. And then, you know, like I thought
the reason I backed Marquette was because I heard all about their size, their athleticism, and their ability to press and their defense. Yeah, and you're right. Here comes Michigan State playing Big Ten defense, and they got the Big Ten athletes. And
their guards, they got
the right coach.
Michigan State's guards are good. Like Tyson Walker isn't bad. He's not the best guard in the country or anything like that.
But it's like he's playing his best ball in the tournament.
Yeah, you know, Tom Izzo deserves a lot of credit, no doubt. But I think like how you get away, how you move on in March more often than not, in my opinion, is defense, the ability to make threes, and you know, just not turn the ball over. And Michigan State does 2 of those 3 things well in these first 2 games.
Yeah, and they made their free throws down the stretch too. I mean,
that too. I watched so many games this weekend where guys were missing free throws when they had that team had a chance to like kind of cut into a lead and maybe, you know, build some momentum, and like they're just bricking them. Like these fucking teenagers, they're just missing free throws, bro. It's actually kind of like wild. We're talking about Division I athletes freaking bricking free throws. I mean, it's wild. And
it is wild.
Yeah.
Hey, but I mean, even then Gonzaga I wouldn't be here mulling over this Gonzaga loss that cost me, you know, $18. You know, I had nine on it, would have been able to turn it into 18, would have been a nice little profit, would have finished really well up. I finished like 95 cents up yesterday. So like, woohoo. But you know, that would have been a real nice win. You know, I was pretty fucking annoyed because they missed some free throws. It's frustrating, but again, it's
big reason why Kansas didn't move on. I mean, they led that entire game against Arkansas, and they just shit it all away in the final minutes of that one. And you know, right now is a good time to buy on Arkansas if you really wanted to, but
hey, I bought back on Arkansas over in February. I got them 50-1 right now. So I do have a $5.
How much is that to win? Like $500?
250.
350? Okay.
250.
Oh, 250. My bad.
Yeah. So 5 to win 250. That'd be nice. It's over on DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. We have all of the March Madness bets that you need on DraftKings Sportsbook. We're going to be giving a ton of future bets out in just a second. Teams to advance to the Final Four, teams to win it all, teams to advance to the finals. All of those future markets are on DraftKings Sportsbook. There's no sweat same game parlays as well for the NBA. And you got baseball coming up. You got World Baseball Classic. You got Japan versus Mexico tonight. And then you got the winner of that taking on the USA on Tuesday. And all of those bets can be made on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Yeah, excited about that future bet for Arkansas. I'll probably be hedging that by taking UConn to win whenever they play on Thursday or Friday.
UConn looks, to me, going into the Sweet 16 right now, UConn looks like the team to win it all. Like, I know a lot can change, and I mean, probably more realistically, or at least, one I would bet on if I were to put down another future bet, which I'm not going to because I've lost 2 of the 3 already. Alabama is probably the big favorite. I think they've gotten past this whole Brandon Miller thing, and they've looked good in this tournament. They look good in the SEC tournament. They've looked good in this tournament. Like, they're playing like the best team in the country. They got to get through Princeton, Creighton, and San Diego State. They get San Diego State on Thursday, which, hey, like, they, as a 5 seed, and they got here. One of the wildest things: every 5 seed won. I couldn't believe it. Every 5 seed won.
Hey,
I don't
not
know
every
if
number.
State, I don't know if
real
San
quick.
Diego, go ahead.
Not every 1 seed won though. Maybe we should bag Braggs a bit.
I mean, we don't have. I guess Big Ten After Dark is done for the year, so like we got to bag Braggs at some point. I've been bagging him on. I've been bringing him down on social media. He's starting to play like the victim role, despite just ignoring the sole fact that he talks so much trash all season. But I'm just saying.
Said he wanted them to be a 1 seed. He said it back in February 2022. He wanted Purdue to be a 1 seed. You got it, Greg. You got it. You lost to our fucking Knights. I remember when we talked about all of the Big Ten first-round games, and I said, don't worry, Greg. We don't have to talk about your first-round matchup. Oh, boy, we should have, Cody.
We should have.
Sorry to cut you off, but the 5 seed San Diego State.
Yeah. So they get Alabama, and and then Creighton's going to play Princeton. I'm pretty sure. Princeton, hey, they beat Mizzou. Mizzou doesn't play any defense. That's why I took Princeton on the money line and on the spread against Mizzou. They play slow. They play in a style that can succeed in March because they don't turn the ball over, and they shoot the 3 and they defend. But I think their road ends against Creighton personally, especially after how I saw Creighton play against Baylor. So we'll see. But I know we're talking futures today, so I'm looking at the East, West, South, and Midwest regions, and the odds there's some juicy ones I like. I really like Kansas State plus 350 in the East region. We're just talking about Michigan State. They play Michigan State on Thursday. Michigan State's a 2-point favorite right now. They were like a 1.5 point favorite last night. So the money is coming in on Michigan State. I regret already betting Kansas State only because the odds have gotten better for Kansas State. I got them at plus 100. Now it's at plus 110, at least last I checked. Tennessee, I can't believe they made it without Ziegler. I couldn't believe that they beat Duke after Duke steamrolled Oral Roberts and FAU, Florida Atlantic. The first round matchup against Memphis was very fun. They sneaked it out, and then they got Fairleigh Dickinson, which they knew how to beat Fairleigh Dickinson. I think they're kind of a dark horse, obviously, at plus 450 in the East region. But I like Kansas State at plus 350. The way that they're playing right now, out of these 4 teams, I think they're playing the best. And I really love the guard play that they have. Michigan State, listen, if Michigan State beats Kansas State, then I will take Michigan State to go to the Final Four because Tom Izzo now, CBS said this stat the other day. Tom Izzo, in his career, 24-7 in the second and Elite 8. Second round and Elite 8 combined in his career.
I heard a stat. He was 19-5 in the first round. 19-5. And I mean, Matt Painter can't beat a 13 seed. He can't beat a 15 seed. He can't beat a 16 seed. I know there's Middle Tennessee State on Tom Izzo's resume, but also there's a national title there as well. Not to bag on Purdue again, but they lost to a number 1 seed. That's hilarious.
You mean a 16 seed?
A 16 seed. My bad. It
is hilarious.
It's so funny. To go to the East, though, I think that game, that Kansas State, Michigan State game, that winner is going to the Final Four. I think that Florida Atlantic is too small. I think that they're going to get absolutely smashed by Tennessee, but I don't think Tennessee has the ability to win a tight game. And we saw a ton through the SEC. They lost a lot on buzzer beaters. I mean, that's the part about being a good defensive team is you're going to be in a lot of close games. You're probably going to be able to win a lot of games because teams won't be able to score on you. But Michigan State having a coach like Tom Izzo, I think Tang's a really great coach, and we see how just dynamic that point guard is in Noel, and he's going to be going to New York, his hometown. I really like whoever wins that Sweet 16 matchup to go to the Final Four. So I didn't ride with you on the Kansas State to win that region. I actually went with Michigan State to win the East. And honestly, just looking at that top bracket, you had Alabama going in the South, right? I don't know if that's going to be the easiest road for them because they have a really tough matchup in San Diego State. They're so physical. They can play really great defense. And I know that Alabama really has like the whole it factor. I think I'd probably put money on Alabama to win the title just because I think they are the best team right now in college basketball. But we know that doesn't mean anything. I mean, we saw, undefeated teams be able to win the title. So I do think that San Diego State's going to give them a ton of trouble. And I just think Creighton's really good. I like Creighton to win the South at plus 185. I love plus money. And if it's going to be Creighton versus Michigan State in the Final Four, my Final Four, why not just put money on Michigan State to win the title at 30-1? I don't trust Tom Izzo, but Tom Izzo has done this time in, time out. I didn't trust him to start the tournament, and all he's done is proven me wrong again. This is what Tom Izzo does. There hasn't been a Big Ten title or Big Ten champ since 2000. It was Tom Izzo. If anyone could do it, it's Tom Izzo. And we know that 8 seeds or higher are teams that can win the title. We've seen 8 seeds win it. Michigan State being a 7 seed. I don't mind it. It's a top school, a Power 5 school that's underperformed. Maybe they're performing right at the right time right now.
Yeah, I agree with you at a point where Michigan State and Kansas State, whoever wins that game, is going to come out of that region. I don't like. I thought Tennessee played very, very well against Duke, and Duke was red hot, right? So I took Duke in that game, and was left thinking what the hell happened. So the thing about Tennessee that scares me though is like when is them being without Ziegler going to catch up? Like when does that catch up? Because again, guard play really dominates this tournament, and
that's all FAU is.
They had guards. Tennessee against Louisiana Lafayette. They blew that game almost, and they turned the ball over 10. They didn't turn the ball over against Duke for whatever reason. Which team are you going to get against FAU? They're athletic. Their size. The size is obvious, like different, and it favors Tennessee. They're a mid-major school. That's usually how it works. But I think FAU could hang around with them. But either way, I don't like either of those teams to beat Kansas State or Michigan State. I don't blame you for taking Michigan State based off those 2 games and the history and all of that. But I just think Kansas State is the better team based off they played better teams in the Big 12 this year, and they're playing well right now, coming off the 2 wins that they got this weekend, just as good as the wins that Michigan State had. So, again, I like that we're both either on Michigan State or Kansas State, but those are the 2 teams I like to come out of that region. You mentioned Alabama in that region. I do think it will be a tough game against San Diego State just because, yes, you're right. They're very physical, and they showed that, and that's why they got out of that frightening 5-12 spot and won the game. And it was an immense bad beat for me. But I don't know. Brandon Miller is going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. And like it really has been an easy road for them so far. They haven't had any real issues. And there's always one seed to go to the Final Four. There always is one. And if I had to choose one seed now that Purdue is out, so you have Houston, Alabama, and what's the other one?
Kansas is out.
Kansas out. So there's 2 1 seeds yet. So if I had to choose between Houston or Alabama, I would take Alabama because I just don't feel good about Houston going up against Texas. And I know Sasser played well in that second game for them, but I don't know. They just I don't know. It's hard to trust right now. But you can get if you think the other way, you can get Houston at -115 to go to win the Midwest region, which for a team that good, I think is very good odds. So if you feel differently than I do, I whatever. I'm not fighting anyone against it, but I do like Texas at plus 210 to win that region because it's pretty good odds for the Midwest. Xavier, they don't play enough defense. Almost blew the game to freaking, what was it, Pitt? Yeah. They literally.
Oh, they didn't blow that game. What are you talking about? They won by 11.
They got down to like 5 points in the final 2 minutes. Xavier went on like a 5 minute stretch of not scoring the ball. They're a good team, but they go through stretches sometimes, especially since Fremantle has been put on the injured list and to be out for the rest of the year. They're a good team, and they definitely dominated that game against Pitt for the most part. But they still allowed Pitt to somewhat make a run and like make it more interesting than it needed to be. That game should have been a blowout for the entire game, and it wasn't, to be honest. So Miami also a very nice, if you want to take a flyer, plus 800. But
I like Miami better than Xavier, just because all you have to do is beat Houston, and then the matchup gets easier. I'm with you with Xavier. I don't think their defense is going to be able to hold up against Texas.
If they had Fremantle, I would think differently. I think that team could, if they had Fremantle, I think that could have been a Final Four team, but they don't.
I would like to see Sule Boom step up a little bit more. I feel like he didn't
have a great game.
Dynamic.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game against Pitt, and one of the reasons, like I was saying, on why they didn't necessarily almost blow the game, but they did make the game closer than it should have been. Jack Nungy, he fouled out. If he gets in foul trouble, I think that team could be in trouble, especially with the lack of defense from that team. So,
well, I'm with you. I'm taking Texas to win that Midwest region as well as plus 210. I think you're on with that one. I know I talked a little bit about before, I think, about Brad Underwood possibly leaving, and if there's going to be an opening at Texas. But they seem to really have played well under Rodney Terry. And I do think that they are the best team in this region. Houston's given me a lot of worries, and I don't know. I don't think Houston has it. I feel like Texas, especially with the way they just dominated Kansas late in that season. This is also going to be in Kansas City, where they just played in the Big 12 tournament. I do like Texas to advance out of the Midwest region. So that's where I'm going to fade one of the 1 seeds. And, you bring up Alabama. Their road has been pretty easy to get here, 16 seed, and then, facing Auburn. Auburn and Iowa, I thought those were both the worst 8-9 seeds in the bracket.
Yep.
San Diego State's really tough. Top 15 team in the nation. And then Creighton, who I don't think Prince is going to win another game. Creighton, I think, that's another top 12 matchup. So I think that they're just going to have too much to deal with. And I think Alabama gets knocked out. They have the right way to attack games, though. I love the way that they're, they shoot from the outside and then only take shots near the bucket. But it's that West region that I really can't call. I'll take Creighton. You're taking Alabama in the South. We're both taking Texas in the Midwest. We're split on the East region, but still from the same game, either Michigan State or Kansas State. I have no clue with the West region. And this is kind of where we were at this, before we started this. We liked UConn to win the title. We liked UCLA to win the title. And we like Gonzaga to win the title. And they're all still here. And I have a future on Arkansas. I have no idea who I want to win, Cody.
Yeah. Well, obviously I have the future. I have the future on UCLA, which I placed before the bracket came out. But I still kind of figured that they would probably have to face Gonzaga again anyway. I figured the committee would probably set that up just based off how great that game was last year. And we're getting it. It's UCLA and Gonzaga this week in the Sweet 16. I personally lean UCLA because they play defense and Gonzaga doesn't. Gonzaga has the better offense, but for some reason, I want to take the team with the better defense. And you saw, I know Arizona got bounced by fucking Princeton, but you saw UCLA able to slow down a team like Arizona this year. I feel like it's similar in a way against Gonzaga with the play style. So if UCLA can do that against a team like Arizona that was very good all year, I think they can do it against a Gonzaga team that honestly, no one really thought they were going to lose at TCU, but their defense, they should, to me, if Gonzaga is a Final Four national championship team, Gonzaga should have won that game without any question at all. And to me, they didn't. So I like UCLA to beat Gonzaga. I still think UConn is probably the best bet based off how they're playing. And if Sonogo scores 20 points or more, UConn is undefeated this year.
You want to hear another stat?
And he's put 20 plus points in every game so far in this tournament. He's red hot for them right now.
You want to hear another stat? And I got to double check this. I think this is right, but this is from the field of 68. In games where UConn doesn't play, in games where UConn is not reffed by Big East refs, do you know what they win? They won every game by 10 plus points.
Wow.
So whenever they're not reffed by Big East refs, they're dominating. So like and we saw this earlier on in the year in conference play. They were just absolutely annihilating teams.
Yeah. They were a top 5 team at one point in college basketball.
I put a future on Duke. I should have put that money on UConn. Jack R saying San Diego State to win it all is a lock. I really like Michigan State. I put that on the graphic there, 30-1. I like it because it's 30-1. I really am just not giving out UConn to win the title because I feel so stupid for not taking it at like 18-1 when we could have. I didn't do it
when they were struggling in the Big East season. Yeah. Like the best time would have got them.
This was before the tournament. We gave out Gonzaga, UConn, and those were 18-1 before.
Yeah, UConn won 8 or 9 in a row in Big East play. I mean, it was an unprecedented run.
Yeah, towards the back end. They really struggled at the beginning of Big East play and then figured it out towards the end.
But they didn't win the Big East title. Yeah, but they're not the Big East champs, though.
That's what people always remember about the year. Right, Kevin?
What's that?
I said that's what everyone's always going to remember is that, hey, Marquette won the Big East, though. At least you always
damn right.
Yeah.
Undisputed,
man. Hey, I keep telling myself that about Illinois and the Big Ten tournament 2 years ago, man. So I get it. I'm there.
All right, Cody. Any other future bets that you want to touch upon? We gave out all region winners, I guess. I'll take UConn to win that region at plus 210. Just because I do think they're the best team. UCLA's banged up. Gonzaga, like you said, they have Drew Timme, but he's kind of like Hunter Dickinson, but West Coast version. And Arkansas, their best player, Nick Smith, hasn't shown up really in a couple months, and they just benched him at the end of the game. So maybe they're a better team now. Eric Musselman's a good coach, but he's never really won it all. So I don't really know if I'm back in the must bus here. I just UConn looks really great, and I'll take them.
Well, the must bus is going into the Sweet 16 with a lot of confidence after being a 1 seed at Kansas and a game that they were losing most of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess to close, I'm looking at the just overall who's to win the national championship odds, the updated odds now. And you can get Arkansas plus 3,500, which you already took or whatever. I don't hate it. Again, we're looking for value here. I mean, UConn at plus 900 isn't like 18-1, but like it's not bad odds either. Like $5-10, you make $100, whatever. If I'm mathing correctly,
I just did it 5 on 9-1, so it's 5 to win 50.
It sucks that you didn't get it in early, but if they keep playing if they keep playing like they have been the last 2 games, I mean, those odds are only going to come down. Or to reverse it, getting Alabama or Houston at plus 340 or plus 360, because it's not a bad bet right now.
Final question for you. Now that Houston's no longer the favorite, and they were the favorite coming in, and you can get them at plus 600 before the tournament started, and now Bama's the favorite at plus 340, Houston's at plus 360. Do you like that now Houston's got a little bit more juice, seeing the way that the Sweet 16's laid out?
No, not really. Only because it's like, what's the difference between plus 340 and plus 360? I mean, sure. I like Alabama more than I do Houston, and I know Sasser played in the second game, but I just don't know. I don't feel great. I feel better about Alabama, and I hate it because they're not supposed to be a football and a basketball school, but whatever. I'm feeling at least my UCLA future is still alive at plus 1,200. It's down to plus 800 now. So I'm feeling good about that one at least. I think UCLA has the experience and the guard play to be able to at least go to the Final Four. So I'm still feeling good about that. But as far as like a flyer, Michigan State and Kansas State and Arkansas are probably good flyers. You're higher on San Diego State than I am. You can get them at plus 4,000. But Miami, Xavier, Florida Atlantic, and Princeton, no. However, if Princeton somehow won the championship, plus 18,000 is juicy.
Well, the thing that baffles me too is like going back to my Michigan State pick at 30-1. Like you look at Florida Atlantic, they're just kind of like Michigan State when you look at the KenPom numbers. Like they're top 40 offense, they're top 40 defense. Michigan State isn't top 30, they're top 40. They're like 35 and 35. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand Michigan State.
No,
the Florida Atlantic thing, I think they got lucky because they really shouldn't have beat Memphis and they shouldn't have been playing number 16 Fairleigh Dickinson. So thanks, Purdue. But it's like, but Michigan State played two good teams. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I've said it the last couple of weeks about Michigan State. I thought they were going to win the Big Ten tournament, and then they faced a red hot Ohio State team, and they couldn't do anything there, but they did end the Big Ten season pretty well, outside of that ridiculous loss to Iowa where they were up by like 13 with a minute to go and they blew it. So if you look at their schedule, like they've been playing well coming into March. It was all, I think for them, it was all about the matchup that they got. And I think they match up well against the two teams that they played. I think they match up well against Kansas State too, but I think you can say the same thing about Kansas State facing Michigan State. That's why the spread's 2 points, and it's going to be a hell of a game, and I can't wait to watch it. For me and you, for our sake, I hope that whoever wins the region. That way someone here wins some money.
Yes, I do. That's what we're all here for, is to win some money. Jack R is thinking Florida Atlantic to the Final Four, and he's thinking SDSU to win it all. So, hey,
That's fun.
I will say I do like San Diego State to beat Florida Atlantic in the Final Four if that is the matchup.
I would take San Diego State over FAU. But
we missed you though, Jack R in the chat, and we missed your hot baseball takes like Cleveland Guardians to win it all. Cody, any final thoughts?
Rest in peace to Indiana.
No.
I lost every single Indiana bet I made this year. That's not even like a joke. Every time I bet on Indiana this year, I lost. So rest in peace. You wasted 4 good years from Trace Jackson Davis. And I think people can start to argue that you're not a blue blood school anymore. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just the fact of the matter. However, I do think Mike Woodson is a good coach, so your future is still probably bright. But hey, you beat Purdue twice this year, a Purdue team that lost to a 16 seed and arguably the biggest upset in college basketball history. And that's not even a joke. Like, actually, whenever Purdue is literally ranked as the tallest team in all of college basketball, and Fairleigh Dickinson was ranked as the shortest team in all of college basketball. Their tallest guy was 6'6", and you lost to Fairleigh Dickinson.
And they didn't win their tournament. They got into the tournament on a technicality.
And their conference was 0-31 in the NCAA tournament all time.
There's only one comparison to make of it. One comparison. And it's Virginia versus whatever, fucking UMBC. Yeah. And they were missing their best player in DeAndre Hunter. Zach Edey was on the floor alive, moving, walking around, and they lost because their guards couldn't break a press. I mean, like, Matt Painter it should be fired for that one. That's pathetic. I mean, what the hell?
We had to end the show with some Purdue and Indiana slander because or specifically me, I've had to hear a ton of it from Braggs all year, and Gary in the Discord and in the Big Ten After Darks shows. They're giving me all the slander about how Indiana's going all the way. And you know what? I bet on Indiana last night because, yes, I did think that they matched up well against Miami. And what happened? They freaking let me down one more time. I honestly couldn't believe that it was as bad as it was. It was a 1.5 point spread, and you get blown out by double digits to Miami, which I think have really good guards, but they didn't have anyone like Trace Jackson Davis. What the hell, Indiana? Come on, man.
Credit to Indiana though for again winning a game, unlike Purdue.
Yeah.
I mean,
roasted.
Well, I don't get it. I do not understand it at all. But hey.
I'm clipping this last part of the show. This is going on the internet later.
Yeah, and then Greg will cry. That's Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us in the chat. Jerome and Jack R. Thank you to Kevin Wells for producing the show. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll talk to you tomorrow. No more bets, but we'll be here at 3 p.m. to talk more bets with you and when we're millionaires, of course.